Namaste. I hope you are enjoying our discourses. We have every Saturday sometime many interesting and knowledgeable and educational variety and broad topics, all related to the health and prosperity and holistic and physical wellness of humankind. I have some questions today. There are so many questions I get sometimes. Sometimes it's hard to make a decision. I like to answer all of them, but will take time. I have a question somebody asked, my friend John. Hi, about fasting. When and how? It is for my personal practice. Thank you. John says namaste. There is a several ways you can fast, John, depending on your health. Sometimes we get so excited and eager and you take something that is something which you are not ready physically or mentally, or the lifestyle the one had. It end up becoming uncomfortable. In the end, you may do it for a week or two, or maybe a month or two, and then you give up. So we call it baby steps, or gradual development will be essential part. And keeping in the mind, there is no chronic, major, any health issue. I remember I talked about once fasting, and I was doing fasting at the time 40 days. And very high. I was only taking just 2 glasses of ginger, like the honey, lemon water. I don't recommend, by the way, I'm just talking about my experience. I was very new to London. I reported had been 2007 or 2008, maybe 2007. And I don't really advertise my personal practices, what I'm doing. Most people, even they move the piece of stone or plastic from the street and they will take a picture of it. Sometimes they even walk away, put it in social media and advertise it. Or put it to a side to show how great they're doing. Or even for the self-practice, they may not even do a yoga practice, just to do the one posture to get photographed. And so I've been working very hard. So That's not my nature. But I was talking to a friend about fasting, and then he knew. As somebody heard over the corner that I was fasting, and how I was fasting, and very regular student who used to come to meditation, and it was very difficult for people to meditate 1.5 hours and do a 2-hour yoga practice. That was my initial classes I was teaching in London. That dedicated student, but had alcohol problem and probably anorexic and some sugar issues. But heard that I am fasting, and it's been already 35 days or 36 days, I think, very nearly to my end. I was sharing my experience to somebody who just started fasting in my supervision. And then the way I was fasting, what I was taking, and the person heard it, how great I feel and how it's helping me. The person heard it, that dear student went along and took the fast exactly the way I was doing. And I have not seen the person now for a week now, 10 days, but actually end up in hospital. And the sugar fluctuation in the body. 2 weeks later comes back and complains, I took the fast, Yogi, you were doing, but I was in a hospital, that's why I could not come to the classes. I said, I do not even recommend, neither I share, neither you know about the health conditions. There's many factors you need to keep in mind. And the person got really upset. And so, John, I can't really recommend you the intense fasting. You have to bear in mind your lifestyle and your age, body as how healthy it is. If there is any health condition, chronic digestive issue, respiratory system issue, any circulatory problems, and if suffer from any chronic that can have a negative impact on your fast. So simplest fast that anybody can do, and everybody should, everybody can try, is first you take last meal like 4 hours before you go to bed, and you must retire to bed by 10:30, not later than that if you are taking for a fast. Because first you must change your lifestyle, the daily routine. You are up till 3 a.m., 2 a.m. Your entire body mechanics are out of rhythm. They are not aligned with the natural cycle. Increasing vata in your body on top your fasting is not going to be very helpful. So a regular person, if you're fasting, first of all, you must adjust and adapt your lifestyle. By 10:30, latest 10:30 you are in bed, resting for a good 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but not reading or watching TV. Rest is not that. Relaxing in savasana and falling into a sleep with a deep observation of the day. If you're waking up in the morning, good 7-8 hours sleep. Good 7 hours sleep is very essential. Unless you are a child, teenage, then you must sleep good 14 hours, 12 hours, at least minimum of 10 hours. Nowadays you can see small babies, 5-year-old, they're up only 6 hours sleep because parents, that's what suits them. You are destroying the nervous system. Child should live with the natural rhythm. If you have a good 7 hours sleep, wake up in the morning, you allow 2 hours, then you have your breakfast. So basic routine is very essential for you before you can take a fast. If it's already in the place, it's not like one day, the day you are fasting, you're having a good sleep and earlier sleep. Other days when you're not fasting, it is not applied. That means your routine is your body clock every day. So 4 hours before you go to bed, have a good sleep. Next morning, after once you have done your exercise and activities and daily routine, morning calls, then you have your breakfast, main meal, middle of the day, and then evening meal. Again, 4 hours before you go to bed. So you have approximate 14 to 15 hours in your last meal and the first meal, which is your breakfast. That fasting should be implemented. That anybody can do it, but make sure your last meal is not too heavy. Second option, once a week, if you are following that fasting pattern, skip the breakfast, skip the last meal, only have a one meal which is in the middle of the day. Once a week. Gradually you develop it. Don't do maybe two of them. Just skip the last meal before you go to bed. Have a breakfast in midday and then not in the evening. Once you feel comfortable with the body for 1 day, 2 days, then go back to your regular meal. You can fix a day in a week, that's what you are going to do. Then you skip the breakfast and lunch and the evening also. Like once you have trained the body. So twice a month, you should not eat at all. So you give it a good rest. That will become not only for a day fast. For example, if I'm going fast tomorrow, today I have eaten 4 hours before I go to bed. Whole night I have not eaten. Let's say 6 o'clock I eat. Next day I'm not eating anything. 6 in the evening is now 24 hours. Again, whole night I'm not eating. 36 hours. 40 hours, around 40 hours of the fast you may end up doing in one stretch. So you can have next day light breakfast, not heavy. Because when you break from a fast, remember, breakfast, you have stayed empty whole night. is called breakfast. You are breaking the fast. But your breakfast is so heavy, doesn't feel like you are breaking the fast, feel like somebody who have not eaten for a weeks and you want to eat so much and so heavy that it stays in your belly all day, you feel like food. So don't have to worry about food during the day because you have to work. You do not eat breakfast. You stock manage the food so you do not feel hungry during the day till the evening when you get a chance to eat again. So breakfast means breaking the fast. Should have a very light, not heavy at all. So that can be the good start. So once a week, don't eat anything at all. If you like to follow a bit more spiritual pattern and more helpful for vata enhancement and kapha and pitta balance enhancement, water balance in the body, which is Ekadasi, every Ekadasi. 4 days before new moon, 4 days before full moon, all you need to do is just Google it. It happened 11th day of new moon, 11th day of full moon, on the way to Vahtu. Just Google it, when is the Ekadasi. Now this is a Google calendar, so you can tap it, the in spiritual Indian, the dates of Panchang. All you need to do, just if you're nearby, near Hare Krishna, they follow very strictly. Ask them when is Ekadasi. If not, Google it. So Ekadasi fast, you can do it fully. So twice a month or once a week. If you cannot do any of them, just take a good 4 hours before you go to bed, which is 10:30. Don't eat anything overnight. In the morning, have a very light breakfast, breaking the fast of overnight. So that can be your starting point. There is a other fast, which is you should only eat 32 mouthful. 32. What you can now you have your spoon is so big that actually can take more than twice that can come in your hand amount, yeah. But you were not born with knife and fork and spoon. You were born with a hand to eat. Sometimes your hand can tell you how hot the food is. And if the food is not bearable to your hand, means it is too hot, not eat. Or too cold, you should not eat. Because it's not good for your digestive system. And when you eating the food, you are also recharging with your hand, because your hand have a loss of healing energy. I give Reiki to my food, but I use knife and fork. What is that? Because you're scared to touch the food, but you are giving energy. Best energy you can give to your food when you're eating by the hand, when you touch, because the tip of your fingertips are recharging. They're all prana points in your hand. So you can recharge the food while you are eating. But this is not to be done. It's not table manners. So when you're eating the food, you should only take what can come, what your fingers can hold, and that you can put it, offer into yourself. Maximum 32 or 30 times 30 mouthfuls. That is because of a fast, and you start reducing the one mouthful slowly to the, by the time you arrive to the new moon, you are complete, on full moon, you are empty stomach, you are fasting, and you start eating gradually. The next day, one mouthful, and one mouthful. And by the time you reach to the, I think 16 times, you chew it really well. And on the, this is complicated fasting. There's many fastings you can do, but it requires a lot of practice. You can't eat spices, you can't eat chili food, you can't have snacks, coffee, chai, many other elements there too. Alcohol, drugs. If you're fasting, I don't recommend to eat chili. If you're fasting, don't drink alcohol. I have seen people, they just finish their panchkarma or very detox, massive, intense vipassana or a good training program or retreat, and then they go out. Oh, I've been busy detoxing my body, looking after, giving it a break from all the rubbish food. First thing they go back to the garbage food. They want to balance it because it needs to be moderation. Being too healthy is not good. So there's many elements, John, for fasting. If you have any specific question, please do reach out. We can talk further. I had a very funny request today. Somebody said you are suffering from a COVID, which is actually I am recovering basically to the point. But try to convince me that I know that you are a vegetarian and a vegan, but you must eat this miracle. They have some miracle medicine apparently. You are being stubborn. Forget about your vegetarian and vegan concept for a week or 2 weeks. I am taking it. I feel so great, and I'm completely recovered and healthy. And then you are just being stubborn, and we will still say that you are vegetarian. I said it is not about vegetarian. Me being whole life vegetarian, and many times not even eating. I don't consume eggs and onion garlic or sattvic Vaishnava diet, and very healthy. And the person tried to convince me because I will be recovered from COVID, and I should live. I should think about living. I said to the person, do you know actually who you trying to convince and who you communicating? Then person come up with a nice story. There was a monk, I don't even know the story. There was a monk who was praying, and the flood was happening. The firemen came along. Do you want us to throw the rope for you to take you out of the stone? Because now he was on the stone, he was praying. He said, no, it's fine, I'm praying. Firemen went past. The water increased a bit more further. Now his cushion on he seated down is now wet as well. Fireman came second time. Do you want me to throw the rope to you to pull you out? Monk still said, I am praying. The third time, this time the water is above almost to his head. Fireman still said, would you like me to throw the rope to you? He said, no, I'm praying. Finally, he died, the monk. When he arrived in apparently in the palace of God or heaven, I don't know he arrived in heaven, but he arrived in heaven, and then he's complained to the God, I was praying for you. Why don't you come and save me? God said to the person, what can I do? I sent a fireman 3 times to save you, but you didn't get the sign. The person tried to say that I may die, I should take the medicine. They're so convincing story and implanting the fear as well. You should give up the whatever you believe is. This is a sign and message from God of your prayings that you should take that miracle medicine. I said the monk probably was not real a monk. If he was praying, he should not be praying to save the life. You have no intelligence. When you're drowning, you're dying, there's water is coming over to you, still busy about praying. Your prayer should be not for your personal benefit. Remember, point one. So there will be many people in your life you will meet. They will come up with crooked, convoluted ideas to shake you from your personal practices, personal self-development practices. Don't listen to people like that. Always follow your practice. Always listen to your principles, the ethos. That enhances your personal well-being. I have one question. I meditate on Ajna chakra. I meditate on Ajna chakra, which is a third eye, for some people not know. Is it dangerous? Will it lead to some problem, as many people say that? Suchit Bikram, meditation on third eye cannot lead you to any problem as long as you are not chasing the projection or any powers. Neither it will lead you to any mukti or salvation. It will just awaken, may give you some bit more intuitiveness, may give you a bit more better clarity, may give you uplifted, elevated thinking. So as long as you are aware, you are not abusing any power that you generate from meditating at your third eye or your Ajna chakra, it cannot go anywhere wrong. Only time it can be dangerous when you're doing it aggressively and you are having a eyeball pains, headache, eyebrows pain creates inflammation in your eyes, on your forehead. After meditation, you wake up, overnight resting, you have a little headache, throbbing at your temples, or you get a ringing in your ears. If you're doing it aggressively, not calm and relax in your practice, while you're doing third eye, Ajna chakra meditation, it can be dangerous. But as long as you are aware what you are doing, knowing what you are doing, it is unlikely you will have any problems. Only thing you can watch out, whenever you finish meditating on third eye, or anyone, not just only to the Bikram, I highly recommend either almond oil if you are allergic to almond, then olive oil, sesame oil. If you can have a homemade from white Brahmin cow ghee, small few drops of ghee inside your nose, that will be very essential. And also, if you are meditating on Ajna chakra and taking drugs, smoking, even though drugs may be herbal drugs, I will not recommend it. It can be very dangerous. Taking alcohol and even you smoking a regular cigarettes and you're meditating on third eye, smoking any form of substance that affects this region, it can be dangerous. So you have to watch out your lifestyle and what you eat, and at least put almond oil, olive oil, sesame oil, preferred ghee, depending the quality of it. One question, one line about power of Brahmacharya. Ram Everest. There is many definitions of Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya, what you may think and what it might be, totally two separate definitions. Constrain and restrain, aggressive restraint of sexuality is not Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya, all of your acharan, your thoughts, your activities, lifestyle is all towards to understand the Brahma, Brahmacharya, Brahmacharan. Your mind is so, your senses are so engaged, your mind is so engaged, your body is so engaged in the acharan and the activities that helps you to attain Brahma, understand Brahma. It becomes natural byproduct what you may call it, restraint and constraint of your sexual desires. You are practicing celibacy, constraining your mind, sometimes even very aggressive with the physical organ, restraining, but your vichar, your thoughts are not aligned with the Brahma, not aligned with your inner energy, but more to the thoughts that creates the hunger and lust and desire. I will not classify that Brahmacharya. Power of Brahmacharya is harnessing the sexual energy to transcend, convert into a ojas and tejas. Will help you to stimulate your pineal gland, balance of your hypothalamus gland, awakens your crown chakra, expands your aura when it is a natural product, when it is naturally all of your acharan, all of your behavior, all of your actions and your sense relationship, all of your thoughts are only into the one direction to understand the Brahma. That is a power of Brahmacharya. Power of Brahmacharya can awaken your third eye, can awaken all of your energy centers in your body. Clarity, transformation that you can call it, can take place from that. The ojas and tejas, many other benefits of it. So I hope that helps, Ram. I had somebody ask what yoga position is bad for cervical problems. Jack's class is probably a person from Mexico or somewhere in South America who asked more videos of yoga as well to be on YouTube. Depending what problems do you have and how bad it is. It will be very difficult to pinpoint any specific postures and somebody hears it and they start doing it. Will be very dangerous. So I will not comment on it. If you have any question, please do reach out. A specific cervical problem, what it is, and then we can talk about it. how do we develop courage in all aspects of life, no matter what is happening to you, and eliminate the fear. Fear can be a great friend, and fear can be a tool and initiate the courage inside you. It depends how one handles the fear. If there is fear and fear takes over, it can be dangerous. If there is fear but you manage the fear, do not let the fear take over your senses, that fear can initiate the courage in you, and that can be as a vehicle and tool. So, courage is all how well you manage your senses and how disciplined your thought pattern is. Sometimes you may be very courageous, but not knowing the capability of your senses, which can also be dangerous. Courage should be the strength of your senses. Once you understand the viveka, your ability to discern, to react or not react, to respond or not respond. Your senses will come together if you understand and know them, will give you enough courage to deal with whatever fear it is. Fear will automatically be eliminated, will turn into a power, not something that is keeping you weak, but turn something into a power. Your fear can be transformed into a power. If you have viveka, viveka is ability to discern, to respond or not respond, to react or not react, and understanding when you're responding is your actions are aligned with circumstances, time, and the place. Best advice, read Bhagavad Gita. Read Bhagavad Gita. His story is all about courage. Whereas in the middle of the battlefield, Mahabharata, Arjuna been very eager for 13 years or more than 13 years to fight, take the kingdom back. And he's capable, he's a great archer. Everybody got together, come into a battlefield. Now he puts his bow and arrows down, goes on his knees, losing all his courage and desire. I want to retire to a forest to become a monk, which he could have been before. He had plenty of choice, but he had so much courage of anger and rage. to fight. Now he's seeing the beloved relatives, friends, cousins. He loses all the courage. All the fear arrive of losing all those loved ones. And the Krishna is giving the divine message to fuel the weak Arjuna to fill with courage for life. That is Bhagavad Gita. If you can read it, understand it, you get courage. When in the end, Arjuna gets up and fights and wins the battle. So, not knowing what to do and how to do in any aspect of your life, you have a best friend if you can read Bhagavad Gita. Don't worship it to a piece of a book, but understand it, read it, try to implement whatever you can from Bhagavad Gita into your lifestyle. It's not your ordinary book that can be kicking about in a bookshelf and underneath the coffee. No, not that disrespect either, but implement it. On that note, I believe that will be enough for today. Thank you. We meet next week, same place. Thank you, everyone.